Hi, I'm Selina.
And I'm Bel, and together
We are the Fashion Suite podcast.
Let's discover how to make fashion fun, easy, and sustainable.
So you can look great and even feel better about your style choices.
Hello, guys! Welcome back to the Fashion Suite podcast, season 2.
Yeah, so exciting. Can't believe.
We're so excited because this season is a whole new level. As you can see, we can see each other now. You can put a face into our
talking
voices
and conversations.
Yes, so many things have happened, Sally, since first season, which was amazing. Our first season in this project together as fashionistas, friends. I got my hair. I moved to Switzerland.
Yeah, so big changes, like significant ones.
It's like a whole new life I'm living.
New year, new you, new season, new you.
Oh, I'm already done. I'm ready. I'm ready to start the year fresh. And what about you? I know you have been on very exciting projects as well with your brand.
Yes, I'll have more collaborations. I had like my dream fashion show and a really nice location. And when it was a huge success, I changed a bit of the brand strategy and just a lot of things are coming up, new seasons, new collections, new materials, collaborations as well. So a lot of things are happening while having a fashion business. And I think it's like inventing yourself every year as a brand.
Yes, and this is the focus we want to have in this new season, like more in depth of behind the scenes of the fashion industry, because fashion is a business, but fashion is art, fashion is photography, fashion is so many things.
Also like investing. It's like you can see it even like investing into pieces and everything. So it's a lot of things to talk about.
And we will do that one episode after another. So stay tuned and I'm sure you will love it. We have amazing guests already, like in conversations.
Yes.
Exactly, that they will join us all over the world. So I'm very, very excited, very much looking forward. But also, one of the most common questions I got after the podcast, like, okay, guys, can you talk about this and that? It was mainly, how can I do my own fashion brand? And I have the feeling that it's very, very romanticized. No?
Yes.
It looks like super easy, but to be honest,
it's a lot of work.
It's a business.
It's a business and it's a lot of work.
And it's a very difficult business, I think.
Yeah. Honestly, you're absolutely right. And I get the same questions every time I meet new people. They ask me, I want to do my own collection. I want to start over. I want to be a stylist, a designer. And as you said, it's so romanticized and like perceived to be so super easy and just glamorous and all freedom, just glamour, just good looking, and maybe take some pictures for Instagram. This is sometimes people perceive it as.
Yeah, that's why in this first episode, we want to talk about the reality of a fashion business, the good, the bad, the unexpected. Based on our experience, Selina owns a fashion business and she will be sharing insights from running her own brand and coming from a family in the fashion business. And I have worked for a sustainable fashion brand and I also work for brands. I'm a fashion influencer sometimes. So
you had like both sides.
Yes,
this is something I really find interesting because you were working for a brand as an employee, like an employee,
influencer,
and then you also
manager.
like on the influencer side. So you have like both sides, and I think you can tell us a lot about the insights.
Yes, I have the best of both worlds.
Yes.
But yes, more the marketing, digital side, social media, which is a lot. Like trends, Instagram Reels, and on my own platform, because last year, it was a transformative year for me as well. You were with me in this journey through the podcast and everything, and I grew my audience almost 300% in less than a year because I decided to do so.
But it's also a lot of work. It's not happening overnight. It's just like this. And this is really sometimes people don't see how much work it is in the end.
I decided, but what I mean with this is that, okay, I want this. What do I have to do to achieve it? And I did it, and I achieved it. And I have so many more plans to keep growing. But I mean, it's not because you go viral and then you are famous, and then you will have a lot of collaborations with brands, and people will buy from your products or will join you in events, but we will go
We'll
more
talk
deep into
about
that.
it.
Yeah, yes.
We even have a section for that. Do you want to explain it well?
Yes, we will play a little game to say some truth or false things in the fashion industry, because we see that it's so much romanticized, and there are some statements that people say that we will say if it's true or false, Sally.
Yes, please.
If I have my fashion business, my brand,
Yeah.
I will always look fashionable.
I would love to, honestly. I really would love to. But I can tell for myself, sometimes I just want to feel cozy. And as it's still like going to work and I have my store, of course, I look nice and decent, I'm not wearing yoga pants or anything. But I'm still like wearing nice trousers, like nice pullovers. But I still would look like comfortable and maybe put nice accessory on. But it's not like every day super fashionable, because it's still like a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. And sometimes we all have those days where we don't feel like that, to be honest.
It's a matter of energy.
Yes, how
But
it is like as a fashion influencer. Do you always look fashionable?
you have to. You really have to look fashionable. Even when you have to do that effort in events, on social media. Although I am very transparent on my Instagram, and that is one of the keys that I realized, okay, I need to show myself as a human.
Yeah.
And part of my strategy to grow on Instagram was to start open up about my experience of living in a different city, in a different country, my struggles, trying to build my business or doing what I like, because I don't see it like as a business goal for me, but maybe it can be. You never know.
Yeah.
But I do it because I love it. I love to communicate, to have my community, to talk, and for that I had to open up. And I show a lot without makeup, for example, on my Instagram, but because I feel comfortable. And that is the key, I think. When people ask me, okay, what do you recommend me to wear here or there? I'm like, what you feel more comfortable. Because I think that is the key to look nice. But you have to be comfortable with yourself, your skin, like a lot of self-love as well. Like it's another topic. But what I learned, I have been working for a fashion brand for more than 3 years. And I have been traveling to a lot of fashion trade shows around the globe, Europe, US. And I could notice that image is everything. Like the first impression in the fashion industry is everything. There are thousands and thousands of people are there. You have to do networking, get new clients, sales agents. Like I was in that area, and I could tell, like, I will never forget. I was in Amsterdam, Mode Fabric, one of my favorite trade shows, because people are so fashionable there. And I was checking a brand from Copenhagen, actually. They were selling silk pieces, but they didn't look so nice, like when they were hanged, like it didn't call my attention until I saw the owner. She was wearing so stylish those pieces, of course, combining with Gucci, like designer accessories. I don't remember she was wearing makeup, but her hairstyle was like, she was looking amazing. And then I wanted to buy those pieces. And then I realized, wow, it's important.
Yes.
In this business, it's important. It's part of the business. Have your nails done, like details,
You have to look like good. Even like I can tell in the store, if you have customers, if you don't look like properly, Although you
course.
don't have to wear like the big designer blouse and, I'm not wearing a bag while working, but you have to look good because like you are the best mannequin for the stars. Like same as you on Instagram, you have to show what people can get out of their closet. And like me, I have to show them this is how you can look if you wear like those kind of coats or dresses, you have to represent it.
Absolutely. But it's true that maybe behind the scenes,
We're not always looking good.
Exactly. You're working in your pajamas.
Yeah.
Like when I'm planning my reels or the content of the week or the approach or whatever, when I'm planning, I am in my pajamas, drinking my mate, which is always with me. And it's not so fashionable. Like, or when I edit. When I'm editing, you don't want to see how I look.
That is true. Actually, I totally feel you.
Yeah. Another true or false. I love this one.
Yeah.
I will be my own boss and have total freedom.
Well, where should I start? Yes.
That word freedom, it's like a lot.
Yeah, actually, this is what you think about having your own business. Of course, you are your own boss, and it can be good and bad in both cases. Of course, you have the freedom to do everything, but you also have the pressure to do everything. It's not like you don't have colleagues. You're like, oh, can you help me there? Or I have a question, or I have to do like a decision. You don't have anybody to ask because it's just you. So, of course, you are your own boss. Nobody's telling you what to do, but you have to like set up your own goals. What do you want to achieve? What is like the creations, the new collections, what they're going to be about?
Can we structure a little bit, Sally, how it is, what all the things you have to think about when you want to build your own fashion brand?
Everything.
I know it's a lot, but
yes, it's like it depends where you want to start. It's like, okay, if you want to talk about the products, of course you have to know what kind of products do I want to have or to sell, to produce. It's like, do I buy the things and resell it? Do I produce them? Where to produce them? What's like the quantity? Which material? How do I get them in my store? Do I have a store? Is it online? Those have two different kind of infrastructures, because then you might need like, what are my employees? Can I afford to have employees or not? Then this is just like having this product getting into your store. Doesn't matter if it's like online or offline, like in retail. And then it's about, of course, marketing. How do I marketing them? And this is also like about pricing. What's the cost about it? Because it depends if I'm just selling online and everything just goes in hand. So whenever I decide which kind of product I have or products, I can think about the price, what's the quantity, how I sell it. And then, of course, there comes cost with it. And of course, you have to be profitable, because otherwise it's nice to have, but you can't make a living out of it. And in the end, it's work. So you want to have a living out of it, to be honest. That's what we do. But then, of course, you have all the costs. They have to be covered. And then it's about like, hey, you might need help because you're your own boss. And sometimes you're getting sick or you're tired. You want to go on holidays. You might need employees. Then you have to be able to afford them. It's, everything just goes in hand. And it's not that much freedom then, because you're a stick to this. And you have to do all those kind of things to be profitable in the end.
And everything depends on you.
Yes.
And we haven't even mentioned packaging.
No. Like packaging, shipping. Then you have, of course, if you have a store online, you need like the logistic behind. Even if it's an online store, where do I store all the goods, the things?
Well, something very, very interesting that it changed a little bit my mind. As I was saying, I was working for a sustainable fashion brand, and I have been to over 10 or so fashion trade shows around the world. And I have attended countless talks by sustainable fashion brands sharing their experiences, because I am more focused on that field. I am curious, so I wanted to hear stories, experiences. And sustainable fashion brands require even more investments.
Yeah.
The materials are more expensive, right, Sally?
Yes.
We have a whole episode talking about materials, natural materials.
Yeah.
They require
And it's
They're
like
more
sometimes
expensive.
it's even harder to get the informations out of the brands. Or like if you have a production, to get the materials that like they're so open about talking about it and then have proof about what it is and where it is produced and what's inside of it. So this makes it even harder. So it's a lot of more work you have to put in. Then of course it's more expensive because more work will put it to it. And so, you know,
The packaging, sustainable packaging, is also more expensive
of
because,
course,
yes, plastic free. Or you have this new kind of plastic bag because you need, in order to transport goods, clothing, for example, you need something plastic. So if it's raining or whatever,
of
your
course,
piece arrives well. So now there's, for example, this kind of plastic that dissolves in water. It's not plastic. I don't know exactly the name, but this is super expensive too. Or carbon neutral shipping. Like you have a lot of options, but you start adding costs.
of course.
And
And maybe in the
when you start
beginning,
doing math, really kicks in. And I remember in Amsterdam listening to a very super interesting sustainable fashion brand from Copenhagen. They make bags. And the founder was sharing how she personally follows up with each customer. For example, after 1, 2, even 3 years, she emails them one by one, which is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Owning the product, no, and asking how it's holding up, if they still wear it, and if
A lot of work.
if it's broken or not. Like she does a real follow up of her product because she's very worried that the product is still being worn. And if they don't, she buys it back to resell a second hand or to recycle the material.
Really?
No? Yes. But she admitted she still doesn't know what to do with them. She just has a pile of bags waiting for a solution because she doesn't know really how to recycle them yet. And as I was listening, I kept thinking, what about money? Like, I really wanted to raise my hand and ask her, like,
how can you afford that?
Exactly. Like, in which year you started making revenue? How is this really working for you as a business, you know? I haven't done it, to be honest. I should have. But I realized that no one was asking there about money. And I think it's a very important topic because, yes, we can think about many different kind of solutions to make a brand sustainable, which is amazing, and I love it. But can we please talk about money? Because you have to make money in order to survive and the business to survive, you know?
Yes.
You can't live out of the love of art. That is a fact.
But to be honest, and I talk a lot about like also like industry friends and like people work with together. And it's an industry you do because you love it and because you love the industry, you love the materials. But it's mostly not a business, especially as a small business owner, where you get rich. You can make a living out of it, but it's not that you can say, I'm getting rich out of it. Especially like if you're still like in a small, you have maybe to expand, you have to produce more, doing more your own brands things, like high production, low costs, more sellers or more people are going to buy your things, then you might be even more able to be more profitable or getting richer. But then in the end, it's still like you're getting goods back. You have to take them back. All the returns, the costs. So in the end, to be honest,
the returns.
There are a lot of returns. You can make a living out of it and you do it because you love it, but it's nothing you get rich out of it, to be honest. And I know a lot of people, they're struggling, especially right now. And you can still feel the pandemic when it started. And I see like friends closing their stores and everything because they can't afford it anymore.
I think now, like after 5 years, we can see the real effect of the pandemic.
Honestly, yes, because like rents are rising. Customers don't have that much money anymore. It depends. You also have like, this is where it makes it complicated, or like you have to have a good positioning. Like, where do you want to position your brands? Like, don't go everything. It's like either like going premium, high end, or I want to be cheap and low and sell more pieces. But position you as a brand. Tell your brand story. Who are you? This is the work you have to put in. Like,
and stick to that.
Yes.
You can't change that every year. It's not going to
like,
work.
You just open a store, it doesn't matter if it's online or offline, and people will buy and all good. No, you have to do like, I need corporations. I have to do a fashion show, for example. I have to do social media. I have to show my face. I have to show my story. You know, it's like a lot of things you have to do.
The private events for your customers, Sally, which you do a lot.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
But
it's part of the strategy and it's extra work.
Yeah, but because like we're selling mostly coats, they're not like costing $50. They're more expensive. They're like more into premium. We're focusing on natural materials, high quality, well-made, high craftsmanship, like made in Europe, like Italy, France, Spain, Copenhagen, you know? But this costs money, but you also want to have the customers, and you don't want the customer just to buy one piece and then you're like left away, like in any big company or brand. No, we want to have like a personal relationship to them and like also treat our customers because we think, you know, we love them. And of course, you want to have a good relationship to them. And sometimes, like even what you told about your friend, like maybe after 2 years, you will have lost a button, or you might, I don't know, gained weight, lost weight, or you're not happy with some details. We can, okay, come by and we will have a look at it and maybe change something that you feel comfortable and happy with it again.
Exactly. No, it's an endless talk.
It's an endless talk, yes.
It's it's always so much more than we think.
Yes, of course. It's always like in the beginning, you thought it's so super easy. You just open up the store and everything will be good. And I think most people forget about it. Maybe in the beginning, you're able to gain customers, but it's not about just like selling one piece to one customer. It's about like that they're coming back.
Build a relationship.
Yes. And maybe they buy something else or the same product again. It depends on what kind of product you're selling.
Or they recommend to friends or family. It's like a whole network also there.
And everybody has like their network because we all have friends and family and we talk to people.
And even after the pandemic, I have been studying a lot customer for 2026. And after the pandemic, we are appreciating more small business, personalized experience, personalized products. So it's going everything into that direction, which I find amazing, but it's also a lot of work.
Yes.
You know, and you have to have a clear strategy for that.
Yeah.
But let's go to another true or false statement.
Please.
If I get an influencer to post my brand, my product, it will go viral.
I could ask you that question. To be honest.
Where shall I start? Have you worked with influencers, Sally?
Yes, a bit. I tried a bit, but of course, like it's also like a budget question because if as bigger the audience is, it costs more. Then you also have to think about like also sometimes like if they have a bigger audience, they're not as well connected with them. It's sometimes like super hard than having like a smaller audience. And it also have to represent the values. It's not that simple to like find out who you want to work with. And I tried it with you. But to be honest, some people might came because of that. But it's not really like I didn't find the holy grail, how it actually is working. And sometimes I ask even you questions because I think you have more knowledge about it and like how you would do it and like about strategy and how it is.
Yes, it's a very... I don't want to use the word complicated because it's not complicated, but it has a lot of points of view and it's not that easy as it looks like. No, it's not that, okay, I like her profile, I get her budget, I pay her, and then I get the same amount, even double or triple in sales. It's not that easy. I think it's all part of a digital strategy with social media, and influencers is one part of that. But there are different strategies in order to work with an influencer or a group of influencers. For example, brand awareness.
Yeah.
It also depends on your industry. Now we are focusing on fashion, but this goes with every industry. Brand awareness. What is brand awareness? You need reach That means influencers with high engagement, visibility, and credibility in your niche can work good for you because you need your product to get seen.
Yeah.
So people start hearing about your brand, your logo, recognize you. And that is a lot of money. That costs a lot of money. It's about getting your brand in front of as many relevant eyes as possible.
Yeah.
Then you get the shoppable content. You need conversions. This is where you work with influencers whose audience actually buys from them, trust them, and they have already seen your brand before. It's a bit difficult that in the first approach, you get a lot of sales.
Yeah.
You can track them with trackable links, with a personalized discount code. Like there are some tools to use in order to check, to track, but it's also difficult. For example, I have been working with a brand for around 3 years, and I know it from a friend. She bought 3 pairs of shoes, but after 1.5 years talking to me, like, oh, I love these shoes. Like I had a very long-term collaboration with this brand, which I love, and I keep working with them. But to my friend, it took her more than 1 year to think about it. Yeah, she ended up buying 3 pairs of shoes. She loves them. Maybe she keeps buying more. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it took her more than a year.
Yeah.
So when you start like having some consciousness about how much time, because they are a little bit of expensive, they are sustainable, it requires time and brand awareness. And she trusted because I was wearing them.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's another thing which is very important, content creation. Sometimes all you need is high quality assets. Sometimes influencers are not about selling directly, but about creating visuals that you as a brand can reuse across your marketing channels.
Yeah.
You know, paid ads, organic on Instagram, and
websites.
Exactly. And sometimes it's more cheaper than planning a whole shooting campaign, hiring a photographer, models, styling the clothing. Sometimes it's easier to pay 2,000 euros to an influencer to do 10 pictures.
Yeah. And just to get the pictures, to have like,
Exactly. And she's traveling around Europe and you get, 3 pictures in Italy, 2 in France. And influencer marketing is not a one-size-fits-all strategy, you know? It can have different points of views and it's part of your strategy and try, you know? Let me tell you a little behind the scenes story that happened to me. With numbers, like, let's spill the tea a little bit. I was working for this brand, as I was saying, and I negotiated a deal with an American influencer. In the US, they charge a lot.
Okay.
Like, the invoices, the amount of money I have seen in invoices is crazy. She was asking over $5,000 per month to post 1 reel, 1 post, 4 professional shoots, no? And edited the reel so we can also post it on our Instagram. The brand already worked with her. They liked her, so I tried to negotiate. We went half of it, like 2,500, but for 3 months in a row. So it was a great deal for her. But it gets interesting when I was asking the insights of the stories, for example. She had like almost 200,000 followers, but the stories, not even 1,000 people were watching them.
Really?
And the link clicks were none. So we were like...
That's what I was talking about. Yes. So like sometimes like big influencers don't have the same relationship like people with like less followers. So sometimes it doesn't really mean how much followers you have. It's about like...
It's very complicated because you see this and then you say, okay, why do we go to a 3 months long-term collaboration?
Yeah.
Give it a try 1 month.
Yeah.
And if you see the insights, you're like, no, okay, we continue with content creation, just create the pictures. And of course, it it will charge less because it's only the pictures. She doesn't have to post. But you also need people to post about your product in order to get credibility. Credibility also for your Instagram. It's very tricky, you know?
Yeah.
But you have to understand it's a strategy. Brand awareness requires a budget, but you have to measure it. You have to really plan it.
But can I ask you a question here?
Yeah.
So what are kind of your measurements? So how do you set the goals? Let's say it like this, because you want to reach a goal, and this is how you measure if it was successful or not.
You mean as a brand?
Yeah. Or like you as like an influencer, like what do you approach?
It's different as a brand, as an influencer. Because you as a brand, you have to reach the influencer with, please, I want to work with you on this part, like, or content creation or posting. Tell me your budget. Some brands reach with gifted partnerships, which they might work, but in my experience, it's not so professional.
Yeah.
You cannot expect amazing content out of it. Yes, brand awareness, but it has to be massive, you know? And it also costs money because you have to pay the shipping. So it depends on your business, like which products you are selling, the price of your product, and your target audience. Because if your target audience is Gen Z, then you can go massive with UGC content, gifted partnerships. So when people look on Instagram or TikTok, your brand name, they can see a lot of videos of your brand and people using your brand. That is one strategy. If your product is more for millennials and more high-end, then you have to work with a different kind of influencer, and she will charge you, or he will charge you, depending on the product we are speaking of. And it's a lot of work. I can talk from the other side of an influencer. And yes, as much followers as you have, much you can charge.
Of course.
But in my case, I know it works. I mean, it's a very successful business. Like, of course. Influencer marketing really works.
It's a big industry. Honestly,
it's a big
huge
industry.
Part as if you have a business, a fashion business, you need influencers. Honestly,
you need them.
You need them.
But you have to be aware there are a lot of fake.
Yeah.
Not fake accounts because they are real people, but they maybe bought followers.
Yeah.
Or they buy likes and
and this sometimes really happens.
Yes, it happened to me. It happened to me. But I think key is to test, to build a relationship with that influencer. If you like her content, you can start small, like small, one step at a time, and it starts working. You like her content, you start with that. Then you see she generates conversions, and then you go further and further, and a long-term relationship is the best because it's part of the brand awareness. And sometimes you don't need a super big influencer.
No, sometimes it's like, you always need different strategy. But Bel, can I ask you a true or false question? Because you're also here and I want to get you into spotlight. Although you already told us so much, but is it true or false that you can always choose what do you want to promote and which brands you're working with together?
Of course, you can always choose that.
Yeah.
Because you have your own channels and you have the freedom to say yes or no, but it depends on your goals. Because if your goal is only make money, which is super fine, like I want to get as much collaborations as possible, and I will say yes to everybody. That's amazing. It's your own strategy, but that can have a cost afterwards because people sometimes get tired of seeing the whole time an ad.
Yeah.
And that you are promoting everything. Sometimes you start losing credibility. In my case, I received interesting collaboration proposals, but they were fast fashion brands.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like you know, I had to say no. I said no because for me it's like a non-go.
Yeah.
And many of them, they offer gifted partnerships. And to be honest, I'm not up for that. You know, I know my value. I know my worth. I know what I generate, because commonly when they give you a discount code, like a personalized discount code, you can get per commission, or you can track how many sales you get. And I know what I generate. I even organized last year kind of a pop-up. I was selling my clothing.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
And of course, I shared it on social media, and I invited everyone in Vienna to come and say hi. And almost 10 people I didn't know, followers, came to say hi.
That's amazing.
And for me, it's a lot. I didn't even have 10K followers. I'm not from Vienna. I'm not like, you know what I mean? That was a lot for me, and that is what is important.
Yeah, I've been into the city for like 2 years, you know? It's like, this is no time.
Tell I was once in the night of the museums in Vienna. It's like a very special night once a year happening in Vienna, which is amazing. In the night, all museums are opened in the city. I was walking there, and a follower came to say hi. Hey, Bel, I follow you on Instagram. And that is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for going viral. And of course, you want to go viral and get more followers, but they have to be your target audience.
Yeah, that's true.
They have to be part of your community.
Yeah.
They have to like you. I don't care if someone that just likes, I don't know how to say that, but I don't care the amount of followers.
Yeah. It's the quality.
I care the quality.
Yeah.
The quality, the messages I get.
Yeah.
The support messages.
Yeah.
Hi, Bel, I love what you do. Hi, Bel, I feel represented of what you are saying because I'm also an expat living in Vienna. And that is what it counts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
In my case.
Yes.
And that's why I charge what I charge, because I know the amount of work I do for promoting, creating a video, a reel, and talking about a brand. Either a fashion brand, food, travel agencies, whatever, because I get a lot of kind of different collaborations, which I love. It's not only one industry that I stick in, but I know the work I put in. I know the impact that has my content, because I can see the insights, I see the stats, I see the conversions, and I see what people tell me.
Yeah.
So that is the worth I know I have, and that is what I charge. And it happened to me, like a fast fashion brand brought to me. It was a little bit confusing, their website, because I always check. Why it was confusing? Because they had a sustainability page in their website, but it was not so clear. Like, it didn't have like much facts information, and the products were very cheap.
Yeah.
So
those are like
they looked
indicators.
amazing.
You can tell it's not like really sustainable.
And I loved the style. I was like, oh, what an amazing blouse. I love this blazer. Like, I liked the styles, but it was too cheap to be good. And the sustainability part was not so clear. So I brought her back like, hey, thank you. Like, of course, very polite. But can you explain a little bit your sustainability efforts? Because this is my approach. This is what I communicate to my audience. And look, I don't do gifted partnerships. I do with collaboration, like paid collaborations. Please tell me your budget. Like, sometimes I'm okay with negotiating, you know?
You're open.
You
like,
will
let's
not-
talk about it. And then we can see what we can do.
Exactly. Depending on the collaboration, what they are asking, the size of the company, you can charge differently, you know? Do you know her answer?
No? What was it?
I'm sorry, because it was kind of passive aggressive, but it was like, I cannot give you that kind of information, and you have too little amount of followers to be paid off.
Really? It's like, okay, we don't have to work together, you know?
But why? Like, I almost have 20K, you know? It's like, you cannot say it's too little. But no, I mean, why do you get so mad or that kind of...
Because you don't have the information. And if people like ask about information and they don't have it, that's when they take it personal. You know, this is just like, I think, like a self-defense.
Yes, absolutely. But
It's nonsense.
It's work.
Yes.
It's also work. And sometimes you as a creator or influencer, you get like treated like, I don't know, why will I work for free for you? And my values
but
don't
this
even...
comes to another question I would like to ask you. So
Yeah.
what's the biggest misconception people have about influencers?
Number one, that you're always with your phone. Like sometimes I go on a trip or I spend the day with a family member or a friend, and they see everything I post about the day, and they're like, but how come, Belle? I haven't even seen you with your phone. Like, when do you record all of these? And it's like,
yeah,
why it is as you think it is. Like, things are not like what we think, you know? That's number one, that you are the whole time with the phone. That is an easy job.
Yeah.
It's just posting videos. That it's easy. And it's not easy at all.
No.
It's not even easy to open up.
No, it's
not
a lot
easy
of work
to post
as well.
It's not easy to post a reel of you crying and saying, like, it's hard to live abroad, or it's hard to be by your own, or it's not easy, nothing. No. I also write to brands. I do a research. I reach out for some collaborations. You cannot expect for them to come to you. You have to look for opportunities. I do a lot of work. To go to an event is a lot of energy. Yeah. I come back exhausted, Sally. But because I give all of myself, I put on my best clothes. Sometimes they are a bit uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm on my period and I don't want to go. But you have to, because you do networking, you meet other creators. Every time I go, I get one or two more collaborations. Yeah. See? Because in person, it's different, the impact. Yeah. You know?
That's true. I talked to my fashion photographer and she also said the same thing. She's also having like a good followership and everything. And we talked about the same thing. She said like, but having them in person, the connections are way deeper, better, or like easier to like really get collaborations out of it or projects or whatever.
And this event can be also in the night.
Yeah.
And
it's mostly in the evening because everybody's working during the day. So
exactly,
that's the time everybody is free and has time to meet up.
So that, and also from the side of the brands, I understand that it's super expensive sometimes, influencer marketing, but it's also worth it. I don't know how to explain it because I am in both sides and I understand creators as I understand brands. Maybe that's one of my keys of building successful partnerships, because my focus is to work long-term with brands. Yeah. I prefer to work like with the same brands, but have already like a budget per month and like goals per month. Like, okay, we send you 2 pairs of shoes every month and you do 2 reels for us for this money. And it works completely fine. Yeah. And my audience already knows the brand and I love the brand. I wear it a lot. I use it a lot. Or vitamins, or I don't know, I work with different kind of brands, but that is what I look for. Yeah. But it depends on each creator. Some people just want to have as much clothing as they want, so they share outfits. And that's also good. I mean, it's very personal. Yeah. It's very personal.
That's true. Yes. So another question I would love to ask you. So what is like the biggest truth you have experienced which turns out to be wrong? Biggest truth, I think, is part of what I have just mentioned. I also had it romanticized, like this kind of, okay, getting the collaborations and getting paid. And it's a lot of work. And you work with your image. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the amount, you have a lot of pressure as well. Like, as much followers as you have, the more you get paid, the more brands respect you, even people respect you more. Mm-hmm. With your number of followers, I have experienced that. And sometimes you can get like very nice results on your reels lately. Like, okay, this month I went viral 3 times and my reach increased, got doubled. And then I have a very nice collaboration. I do an amazing reel. I post it. And the algorithm
It's not working that day. And what do you do? What do you say to a brand? I mean, it's a lot of pressure and it doesn't depend on you because your work can be amazing, but
if the algorithm
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Once I was, and it was a gifted collaboration, but it was a very nice product and I liked it and it was a small business. I was like, okay, we can do a first one gifted. And if you like my work, we can continue, we can talk about numbers. And it was just some stories and I sent her like content for her channels. And she wrote me like 1 week after I posted, like, Bel, I didn't get any sales. And I was like, okay, but you got followers, you got link clicks, and you can't expect
it's like
one sale after me just posting once the story. It requires brand awareness, like it requires a lot of things, and you can't, but you get that pressure. You have to give explanations, you know? Yes. You have to explain. And it's like, and I can explain a lot because I am an influencer marketing manager too, and I know how it works. So I was literally giving her digital marketing tips at the end of the day. You know, so sometimes it's very crazy.
Yeah.
Because brands expect from you everything, you know? And you have expensive product. You even didn't pay me.
Yeah, that's
and you're asking me for one story I didn't get a sale. Look, you got content for free that you are using in your channels in order to sell.
Yeah.
No? Maybe you got some sales after my content you posted, your own.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't track that. I don't have your Instagram account to check the insight. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's influencer marketing. It's huge.
Yes, that's true. It's a lot of work. It's huge. So many different perspectives. And I think even like as a fashion business owner, sometimes it's hard like to think about everything. And I also have seen myself like not thinking as much about like the influencers and everything, but it's like a huge part of it. And as you said, it's like still a lot of work and I think a lot of misconception about like just having one picture posted or one story and I'm going to get viral and I'm going to do incredible sales where I just have my whole year revenue. This is not what's happening, to be honest.
No, I think if we have to summarize what we are saying, it's important to start small.
Yeah.
Test your idea before going all in. Because sometimes, yes, you can speak with a lot of fashion business owners, but the strategy of one brand cannot work
for the
other brand.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's different target audience. You have to understand your clients.
Yeah.
You cannot sell to everyone.
No. You have to find your own strategy and your own identity. What you said, your own image, your own identity. Every brand is different.
Another thing, build a strong brand story.
Yeah.
People buy emotions, not just clothes.
Yes.
To humanize a brand is key. And I have more than 6 years of experience in this, working on social media for brands in different industries. And once you get that, but you have to really stick in.
That's true. And this doesn't come overnight. It's like always what we say, one step after another, because you can't do everything at once. And it takes time and a lot of work. So even if you are like your own boss and you have all the freedom what people are going to tell you about being self-employed or having your own store, your own business, doesn't matter, is it like a real store or is it like as an influencer? It's work in the end. And it's a lot of work and a lot of work people don't even see, to be honest. But I love what I do. And all the time when people ask me, I just like, I love the material. I love what I do. And this is the most important thing.
Yes. And I mean, when you do things right and with passion, you can really achieve it. But please check the numbers.
Don't do it because you're getting rich like immediately.
No, one step after another and pay, because as a creative person too, you don't like numbers. And maybe you have to hire someone to help you with that part of the business, because if you don't have that, it will not last long.
No.
And that is amazing. I don't hear much people talking about this, and it's a huge part.
I mean,
of the business.
We rely on that, to be honest, because we want to make a living out of it. We want to have like a roof over our heads, and we want to have like be able to afford things and trips and everything. So yeah, this is what it is in the end.
It is what it is. Fashion is a business.
Yes.
But it's also culture, identity, history, our passion.
Yes.
Sally. And that's exactly what we are going to explore this season. So stay on the other side. We will be posting every 2 weeks a very new, exciting episode with amazing guests talking about what, Sally?
We will talk about what has fashion to do with art. We will talk about with a fashion photographer, who is really successful. You will love it. We are talking to a stylist who also works for a magazine. And we will talk about fashion as investments and honestly, many more things. So stay tuned because I'm so excited about it. And I'm really excited about this season. Honestly, I loved season 1. It was our first one. But you can tell we're getting better and better. And I'm really excited about this season.
We can recharge, so get ready for that. You can follow us on Instagram at belromano, at selina.simon, subscribed on Spotify. We also are on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that's new as well.
So you can...
Not only Spotify, it's Apple Music as well now.
So you can find us everywhere. You can always send us a message on Instagram, share your ideas. You are also part of this.
Yes.
We are 2 friends that work and love fashion. And we are sharing our ideas, our thoughts, our tips as well. And you are also part of this. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
for being here. Until the next episode of the Fashion Suite podcast.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.